So I recently got into virtual reality, and that is part and parcel because I got myself a Meta Quest 2. However, I wouldn't be a fair reviewer if that's the only VR headset that I had tried. So I've got myself this. This is the new Pico 4 by Pico. It is another standalone VR headset, and I'm going to unbox it and try it on and give you my first impressions. So in theory, this is actually meant to be a better VR headset than the Quest in terms of raw technical specs and all that stuff. However, Meta's been around for a lot longer. It's a much bigger company and has a lot more money to invest into their virtual reality. So it's going to be a pretty close fight. Now this is a good bit of competition for Meta because, I mean, Meta has sort of been on their own in this standalone VR race. So the fact that Pico have done this is great. However, if you're sort of excited about this because it's like getting the headsets away from these social media giants, Pico is actually owned by the owners of TikTok, ByteDance. So you're swapping Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg for TikTok and the Chinese government. But I have absolutely no morals, and I'm happy to crack on and get started. So let's have a look. So we've got the Pico 4 box inside this box. It's a bit nicer, isn't it? Now this looks a little bit nicer than the cardboard box. Really nice actually. So you've got on the front here the actual headset and how it looks with the two remotes. You've got some examples of games that they have currently working on this particular headset. It's got better comfort, better quality, better enjoyment. It doesn't tell you what it's better than. We all know who they're referring to there, but doesn't actually give you a comparison. Let's open this up. Now at the moment this headset is currently available in Europe and Asia, but it's not actually available at the moment in the US. Now I'm hoping that that is something that they eventually bring to it because the vast majority of my audience are from the US. That being said, there are some workarounds that you can get this in the US. It's going to be quite difficult if you want to send it back for returns and stuff like that. Luckily I'm in the UK. So as a base price point, this is actually a cheaper headset than the Meta Quest. Recently, the Meta Quest bumped its price up to about £400 or $400. This one cost me £379, which I'm happy with. That's a much better price than what I paid for the Oculus. But this is $379, so let's open it up. I mean, box looks really nice. It's just sort of this plain white thing inside, and I'm assuming I just lift. That's very nicely packaged actually. I really appreciate this. It's all paper, so it's all good for the environment. But yeah, I really like that. Okay, so you've got the headset and everything here. You've got some more bits sort of stuck on the top here, so I can slide that out. So I'm going to move this to one side. Let's just have a little look in here. There we go. It's all really nice, really high end. It doesn't feel cheap at all. It feels really good quality. In fact, I think I prefer this unboxing to the Meta Quest unboxing. I think this is actually a bit nicer. USB-C to USB-C charging cable. Got a little UK plug with a little extender thing. USB-C. That's obviously very handy. I think these must be my wrist straps. Yeah, and then in here, I believe this is a glasses spacer, so gives you a bit more room if you wear glasses. However, I know a lot of people don't even need to use these normally, even if they wear glasses. And you've got a little thing here, so this is to go on your nose, and it blocks out some more light, which the Meta Quest doesn't actually come with. You can get accessories that give you this for the Meta Quest, but it's nice that they have that included in the box. But they don't have any sort of silicone cover for the cushion that puts it on your face, so if you're sweating it might absorb some of that, I guess. And we have the Pico. I don't really know where to start. I assume I'll just sort of take it up. Nice. Yeah, it feels very well balanced. Obviously it's not like the Quest where you have everything in the front. You have so the battery is actually at the back of this one, which is obviously fed round to the front via wires and the side straps, which means it's going to be a lot better balance on your head. It's going to feel much more comfortable. And also the rest strap, it's not just like this flimsy fabric, it's actually sort of like almost seems like a sort of silicone-y type material with Velcro on it. So we'll see what that feels like, whether it feels nicer. And you've got a little adjustable wheel at the back here that you can adjust to sort of make it tighter and looser, as opposed to fiddling with the straps that you have to do on the Quest. So yeah, happy with that. Here we got our remotes. Very different style to the Quest, which I actually really like how these look. That being said, the layout is very similar. So you have the thumbsticks and then an A and B XY buttons, and then the same sort of things, but they actually feel heavier as well. They feel much heavier than the Quest remotes. I think I quite like that. They got a little bit more to them. So it comes with 2 batteries as opposed to 1. This probably explains some of the extra weight. So this is the headset at the front. Obviously, you've got a cover on it at the moment, so we'll peel that off. Look at that. Really nice. Really like that. If you look at the front here, it's obviously this sort of black glass, and there is a camera, if you can see it, just in that little gap there. And that's an actual proper camera. So as opposed to with the Quest, where your pass-through is black and white, this will give you a full colour pass-through. However, it's not 3D, so I don't know what that will be like to experience. We'll get onto that. You've got obviously your cameras around, you've got microphones, I'm assuming they are, some sort of venting system to keep it cool, other camera on the side, and then if I come around here, I can peel this bit off. This bit around the front, quick. They've got a lot of this. It's all paper though, which is quite nice. It's not any film that's like plastic, so it's good for the environment, which is nice to see. Film around here. And another one, crikey. I haven't even got to lenses yet. My word. So in here we have obviously the lens covers. You also got this is the mould, and it's magnetic, so it very, very easily just sort of pulls off and goes back on. So it just sort of fits back in really nicely. There's no clips or anything that might break. It's just magnetic, so that's a really nice touch. And then obviously you have your lenses in here with, peel that off. Now these are pancake lenses, and again, another difference from the Meta Quest is that these lenses are actually, they don't have the rings on it. They're a bit more expensive, a bit higher quality, and they take up a lot less room, which means this can be a much, again, much narrower headset essentially. And as well as that, it's got 2 screens instead of 1 screen. How that will be to use, we're yet to find out, but apparently it's better to use. Now at this point, this is where you can add in your glasses spacer. You can stick that in like that. It's all magnetic. That's so nice. That makes it so much easier. It just clips together like, and then that obviously then connects back to there. That's so good. I love that. That's really nice. And then again, same thing with the ambient light thing. You can stick that on here. So essentially you would then pull that in this way, slide in at that little gap like that, and that should make it for a more immersive experience. Light pass through as well. And then that back on there. Look at that. Lovely. Right, let's get into this. I didn't check where the on button was, did I? Power button, again, on the right hand side opposite the charge point. Immediate reaction to just putting it on my head. I know I haven't adjusted it yet. Seems to be actually not too bad. It's not that heavy. Despite the fact that I haven't adjusted it, it's balancing on my head with no issue, because obviously it's the balance is better. It's got battery at the back to weigh the back down, so it just feels better. And it feels so light. It feels really, really good actually. Really nice. Right, so let's power this thing on. Well, it looks good first of all. I do need to adjust it though, just to get the sort of eyesight right. So again, I understand that when I first set this thing up, you can't really see what I'm seeing, which isn't very helpful. So you've got a fairly decent little like landing page that you start in. So you start in the equivalent of like a little room. Now the only problem is I can't actually see the remotes because I put that thing in to make it more immersive. I have no vision below, so I can't just look down and look at my remotes. So I'm just gonna have to do this entirely by feel. let's get these on. Should be a little thing here to pull out. There you go, there's one. Oh yeah, my remote has appeared in hand. Look at that. Same on this side. And there it is. Nice, and I can see my remote, I can see where I'm pointing. Perfect. Alright, I'm connected to the internet. Next. What's nice, I'm doing all this setup in the headset, and I'm hoping I'm not going to need my phone to be able to actually get this fully set up. If I can do it all from here, that's going to be much nicer. I mean, sometimes it's easier to use your phone, but for some people it's just a faff, and if I'm doing what I do where I'm using my phone to record, it's a massive faff. One thing I am noticing, I don't know if it's just because I'm not properly set up yet, it does feel like it's a little bit more jittery when I'm like moving. Like it feels a bit more stuttery. It feels a little bit more like if I spent a long time here I'd get a bit nauseous. I don't necessarily think that is going to be the case. I think maybe once I'm in and it's fully set up, it's going to be a little bit sharper with the sort of movement and the tracking, but it does feel like it's a bit stuttery. Verification code. I can't check my emails. Okay, so I've got the verification code. Right. Annoying that I had to check my emails in order to do that, but here, literally, I'm so immersed I can't see what I'm doing. Do you know what I've just noticed? It feels like there's a fan blowing inside. I feel like it's keeping my eyes nice and cool. Is that an actual thing? I feel like it is. Oh my word. Okay, I can see the living room. This is bizarre. I know what they mean by it's not 3D, so it's just a bit really nice and clear, so I can see things really well, but it's definitely 2D, and what that sort of means is that my hand looks massive, and obviously the angle doesn't actually change, it's just the same thing. So if I move my hand close to my face, it doesn't look like it's getting nearer, it's just getting huge. Better than the Quest one, and it's also worse. Okay, yeah, no, it's definitely a bit smoother than it was when I first came in. Okay, I'm recording. You can see what I can see. This is the landing page I landed in. I just had to go through some of the bits that you couldn't see. But yeah, this is nice. I'm currently sat down, obviously, so I feel a bit small. Oh, look at this. This is great. Claim your Black Friday gift pack. You have activated Pico 4 and get 3 games worth no less than €100 for free. It means I don't have to buy any games to actually test the thing out. Nice. Okay, so let's get this on, tighten the strap. That is really nice, actually. Super easy. Yeah, so I did an update, and this is where I am. This is the place to get. It's a bit terrifying that there's a step there. There we go. I'm just going to tighten it. The only thing I would say about the sort of fit of this is that in order for it to be tight enough, and in order for it to not wobble at all, because it's quite wobbly, you've got to get it fairly tight on your head. And even then, it's still got a bit of wobble. But, I mean, it's definitely comfortable. I wouldn't say it's bad. I don't know if you can see this in the actual camera, but when you get close to it, you get this little thing, and you can sort of put your hand through the boundary. It's like a weird barrier. But it's quite cool. If you double tap as well, once I headset, once you turn it on, you can turn on your sort of thing. So you can see I've got a hamster cage right behind the camera. I've got my office over here. It's an absolute mess. Christmas tree there. Yeah, it looks really good. The only thing is, I don't know whether this is a thing to do with the lenses or not. I feel like I can see the pixels more clearly than I would be able to see the pixels on the Quest. I don't really know why that might be. It might be that the lenses are better and I can get a better focus because of the better IPD adjustment, which is like the distance between the two lenses. Because I can get that better, I think I'm getting a clearer image because it's actually got better resolution than the Quest. So the fact but I can see the pixels, whereas on the Quest, I think it was just blurry enough that I couldn't see the pixels. That being said, first impressions is that it doesn't look too dissimilar to what you'd get in the Quest. There isn't any sort of main tutorials on how to exactly use the controllers and stuff like that I've noticed, so that's a little bit of a shame.
Little tempo, turn the shoulders, awesome fully extend.
So I suppose I should give you what my first impressions of the Pico 4 actually are. And I would say from just using it a few times, I've not been able to have a lot of time on it, but I've been using it instead of my Quest 2. I mean, there's a lot. I'm going to go into a bit more detail in a full review, and I'm going to do a bit more of a comparison head-to-head video between the Quest 2 and the Pico 4. It's a great standalone headset, and you can tell that it's got all of the potential to actually probably be better than the Quest. I think in terms of what you've actually got hardware-wise, it is as good as, if not better than, the Quest. I prefer the lenses, although there's a lot of hype around them. I don't think they're that much better. I feel like you get a slightly clearer image, but I feel like that's almost offset by the fact that you have screens, and you realise that you have screens more because you can see them clearer, you can see the pixels clearer. But the remotes I really like. I feel like they're better than the Quest remotes. I mean, they're pretty much the same. You get an extra button so you can shortcut recording, which for me is great because I am recording what I'm doing on the headset. I feel like it's pretty comfortable. I don't feel like it needs you to get another type of headrest, although I don't think you can take this thing off, so that's obviously going to be part of it. But I don't think you need to get a third party one to be able to have a comfortable headset on. It's definitely better than what comes with the Quest 2 in the box. I feel like really the only sort of downside is that it's quite new and it doesn't seem to have a lot of content. I mean, the content I played, some of those games that came with it free, which are apparently worth more than €100, I didn't think they were that good. They weren't the best VR games I've played, I'll be honest. It was nice to see that there was a bit of variation with there being a workout one and a zombie type one, but they weren't like high-end actual VR games. And if you look at high-end VR games, which is already a bit of a niche topic on standalone headsets anyway, because they're not really high-end anyway, because they're very niche for the VR market and they have to be scaled down to be able to work on the processors that they're running on. But for example, at the moment it doesn't have the Walking Dead game on it. It's missing quite a few titles. Doesn't have Beat Saber, and I would say, yeah, missing things that you would really want to have on the headset as a standalone device, and something that is on the main competitor for this one as well. And I think that's something that can probably be worked out and come in further iterations in terms of updates and stuff like that. And I feel like that is what this thing is missing. It's just missing a few updates. And let's not get too wrong, this thing is different to the Quest, but for the majority of people, I mean, if you get this one or the Quest, the actual differences in hardware aren't going to be that revolutionary. And I feel like you should get the one that suits you most for what it brings. At the moment, my first impressions are the Pico has potential but isn't quite there. And I feel like if you get one of these, you're going to be going on a journey with Pico, and actually it will get better as time goes on, and you probably will get your money's worth for this headset. The other thing to bear in mind is that the slight hardware improvements on the Pico will probably be more beneficial in something like PC VR. I'm not testing these for PC VR for two reasons. First reason is I feel like the majority of people that use these are using them as standalone headsets. Secondly, I feel like I would need to go out and get a high-end gaming PC, and I just don't have that. I can't test PC VR on them. But as far as standalone headsets go, the Pico 4 and the Quest are very similar, and I'm going to go into more detail between the two of them, but in a sort of broad sense, from just first impressions, there's not really a lot in it. I would say if you're going to get the Pico 4, you'll be pretty happy with it. If you're new to VR, it's going to be utterly mind-blowing and fantastic. If you have a Quest 2, I probably wouldn't bother. I just don't see the upgrade there, really. The question will be, if you don't have one, which one do you go for? And that will be what I'll answer in my versus video. But yeah, guys, that's my first impressions of the Pico 4. I mean, I love VR. I think virtual reality is just mind-blowing and is incredible. And I feel like the Pico 4 is a growing platform that will get a lot of stuff in the future. I feel like now might be slightly too early to make my mind up on it, but then again, that just means you'll have to stick around and watch more videos. Guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Woo!